Students are the driving force behind those protests in Hong Kong. And here at home, there was a show of solidarity at U of T today. CTV's Austin Delaney joins us now. And Austin, it didn't end there.
But Ken, it ended peacefully because for a while tensions were high here at the U of T campus at King's College Circle. It's where the pro-Hong Kong student sympathizers were gathering this afternoon for a rally. And as their numbers grew, so did some others. They're the Chinese nationals. Students had come saying they wanted to have their voices heard. The umbrella revolution spread to this city this afternoon as hundreds of supporters marched in the streets of Toronto.
Democracy now! Democracy now!
Democracy for Hong Kong, they shouted as they made their way up St. George Street.
Toronto's got your back! Toronto's got your back!
With umbrellas hoisted in the air and yellow ribbons on their chests, the mostly student crowd wanted to show support for the student movement in Hong Kong.
Like, Toronto cares. Hong Kong people in Toronto really care about you. They're not fighting alone. That's the most important thing.
But it wasn't just students. 74-year-old Kim Lau marched alongside the young people, wanting to make sure her voice was heard.
Because of Hong Kong people, they need to know that the other cities from all over the world is supporting them.
It was a peaceful demonstration, but there was some concern at the start of the rally when Chinese students showed up as a group singing Chinese national songs. And that the two sides might clash, but there was a call for calm.
We don't want to fight with the Chinese students.
There was a little shouting.
History will repeat right now in Hong Kong.
You should be against with Japanese or British. What
are you talking about?
Not us!
But both sides then went their separate ways. The Hong Kong supporters to the Hong Kong Economic and Trade Office, where speakers urged the world to watch China's reaction to this movement.
And also to prevent the bloody tragedy of Tiananmen massacre from repeating itself in Hong Kong.
The demonstration ended with a student tying a yellow ribbon of hope to the office gate. The concern for the students here in Toronto is what happens to the students in Hong Kong. A lot of the people I spoke to today here say they have friends over there, family actually in that protest. What will China's reaction be? Will it be violent? They're worried about that. Reporting live from U of T, I'm Austin Delaney. Ken?
Thank you, Austin. This was Premier Kathleen Wynne attending a flag-raising ceremony at Queen's Park today, marking China's National Day. It celebrates the formation of the People's Republic of China. Wynne revealed that she's going on a trade mission to China later this month. She was asked if she's going to raise the issue of Hong Kong's pro-democracy protests.
We support freedom of speech. We support people's right to express themselves in a peaceful setting. And so I will continue to reinforce that message wherever I am.
Wynne's trip to China is going to be her first international trade mission as premier. It takes place October 25th to November 1st.
In the city famed for commerce, more astonishing scenes of democratic protest. On the holiday marking the birth of the modern communist-ruled Chinese state, thousands of people once again jammed at the center of Hong Kong, demanding that Beijing back down on a plan to allow only state-approved candidates to run for local office.
The central government should see is the anger and disappointing feelings of Hong Kong people.
They're calling for the resignation of Hong Kong's chief executive. He was heckled at a National Day event. His tormentor quickly hustled out of the room. While the demonstrators have been resolutely peaceful, police have occasionally turned on them.
The events in Hong Kong have deep resonance here in Toronto, not just because of the many immigrants from that city, but the large number of students who are studying here.
Close to 1,000 people, led by a coalition of Hong Kong student associations, marched from the University of Toronto campus to the Hong Kong Trade Office. They dropped a petition on the front step calling for democratic reform.
Do you expect this will really have any impact?
We are showing our support to our fellow people in Hong Kong that is currently on the street.
Also to prevent the bloody tragedy of Tiananmen massacre from repeating itself.
And they tied a single yellow ribbon on the door of the trade office, which was closed for the holiday back home. A few people added more on the fence out front, but they were quickly removed by the courteous organizers of the demonstration. Even as all this was playing out, Premier Kathleen Wynne was trumpeting her upcoming trade mission to China, facing questions about whether this is the right time to go.
But our commitment to supporting people to express themselves freely in a peaceful setting is absolutely firm.
The Hong Kong protesters say unless they see some action by tomorrow, they may start occupying public buildings. But there is no sign that Beijing will relent.
To all the brave Hong Kong brothers and sisters, we want to tell them they are not alone fighting the battle.
Close to 1,000 protesters gathered on campus at U of T, standing in solidarity with the so-called umbrella revolution that's unfolding right now in Hong Kong.
We need to step up the solidarity to make sure they get the message that the whole world is watching.
At one point, this crowd was chanting, "Toronto has your back." This city has the second largest Chinese population in the country, so the fight for full democracy in Hong Kong is resonating with many right here. And despite the growing outrage, Premier Kathleen Wynne will be heading to China on a trade mission at the end of October. She made this announcement today after attending a flag-raising ceremony at Queen's Park, celebrating China's National Day.
We support freedom of speech. We support people's right to express themselves in a peaceful setting, and so I will continue to reinforce that message wherever I am.
Do you think the Premier's in a tough position right now?
Of course. There are conflicting elements of which both sides she has to support and balance.
China is Ontario's second largest trading partner next to the U.S.
I don't feel that boycotting Chinese products would be productive. I do want people to spread the message of what is going on in Hong Kong.
Would it make you think twice about buying Chinese products?
You can think twice about it, but they make half our products.
In Hong Kong, the numbers are swelling. Tens of thousands spent the night in the streets protesting against Beijing's iron grip over their government. And organizers of this movement are threatening to storm government buildings in the coming days if Beijing's chief executive doesn't step down immediately. And after a violent Sunday that saw police fire tear gas and rubber bullets into large crowds, there is fear this could be the making of another Tiananmen Square massacre.
It's the more people we have in support of the citizens and the students of Hong Kong, then the lesser likelihood that a full-blown crackdown or bloodshed would take place.
The organizers of this protest tell me that they'll be keeping close tabs on developments out of Hong Kong, and until true democracy is restored, we'll be seeing a lot more of these protests here in Toronto. On St. George Street, Shauna Hunt, City News.
Meanwhile, students here stand united with the protesters in Hong Kong. A campaign has started at the University of Waterloo aimed at putting pressure on the Canadian government to speak up. CTV's Max Work spoke with organizers today, and Max, it hasn't taken long for this campaign to spread.
In just a few days, Megan, already hundreds of students have added their voices and signatures to the cry for democracy.
Among the thousands of protesters in Hong Kong, it's a symbol that's traveled thousands of kilometers to the campus of the University of Waterloo.
It's the time for us to stand up and voice out our message to everyone.
These yellow ribbons symbolize democracy. And along with dozens of fellow Hong Kong expats now studying here, Ian Chewy is spreading word of what he and many others want.
A new political reform proposal to us instead of this one, which is only not a real democracy.
The University of Waterloo has deep ties to Hong Kong, including a regional office in Hong Kong's Central District. Back in Canada, the cry for democracy is resonating with non-Chinese students.
I agree with democracy. I like democracy.
And it's not just here at the University of Waterloo. This campaign has already spread to Western and Carleton universities.
A campaign uniting students on campuses who may even take democracy for granted.
I think people actually care what's happening 1,000 miles away from Canada. It's really amazing, yeah.
The group is also collecting signatures and plans to send those signatures to Parliament Hill in hopes of convincing the Canadian government to get involved. Megan.
All right, Max Work reporting from the U of W campus tonight. Thanks, Max.